Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where I, Graham Jason Matthews, give my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world every single Friday, share a few stories, etc., etc., basically talk about whatever the hell I want. And since we're only 2 days away from TLC, I don't know if I'd call it one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year after the few recent disappointing installments, but after 2010, 2011, and 2012, it's been a great event on the whole, and I'm looking forward to Sunday, if only because I'm going to be there, people. I'm going to be in the Garden, the TD Garden in Boston on Sunday, the 13th. GSM will be there, folks. Yours truly will be in attendance for TLC. Be sure to check me out. I don't know if I'll be on camera. I highly doubt it, but I'm just looking forward to a great night of in-ring action. Hopefully a few surprises thrown in here and there. It should be a great show. As I've done for a few pay-per-views in the last couple months, I'll be ranking my top 5 favorite matches from the event's history here today in the video blog. Not my favorite TLC matches, so if that's what you came here for, be sure to think about that before you click out. Just remember that this is my top 5 favorite matches in WWE's TLC pay-per-view history, not the match history. I might do a video about that at some point down the line. This isn't like the Hell in a Cell video. So dating back to the event's inception in 2009, we'll be going back to that in every one of my favorite matches from the last 6 years. Starting with number 5 from last year's installment, the most recent installment with the exception of this upcoming Sunday, for the Intercontinental Championship, the ladder match between Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper. And the event on the whole last year, I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it. I mean, there's a difference between enjoying something and thinking it's great. It was not a great show by any means, especially coming off, which I thought hindered it, coming off the absolutely amazing NXT TakeOver Evolution show, or Evolution, whatever the hell you want to call it, that previous Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was. There was no topping that. There was absolutely no topping that event, so TLC kind of suffered as a result, but it was still a good show. But by and large, by far and away, was the best match in the entire show was this match, the ladder match between Ziggler and Harper. The build wasn't even that amazing. Harper had just won the championship right before Survivor Series, had a mediocre reign. I don't think he won one fucking match. Ziggler had his rematch. He was fresh off winning the main event of Survivor Series. A lot of people thought they were finally going to do something with the guy. They didn't. This was like the peak of his push, unfortunately, because it was all downhill from here. But it was still a fantastic match. These two worked together so well, and they really gelled so perfectly in this match. Now, Luke Harper, interestingly enough, talked about this match on the Talk is Jericho podcast with Jericho only a few short weeks ago, and he said that when he was informed that he was dropping the belt, it wasn't the fact that he was dropping the championship. He just kind of felt like he was slighted. He felt like he wasn't really given a chance to shine as champion. It was kind of a transitional reign. So he was going to go out there and prove the world. He was going to specifically prove the officials why they were wrong about him and prove to them his worth. Along with Dolph Ziggler, who was known for doing that kind of thing in every single match that he wrestles. So it really came as no surprise that he was on board for that too. They went out there and had one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen in recent history. Probably the best ladder match other than maybe Jericho and Michaels that I've been a fan for in the last 7 years. These guys just had a bloodbath of a match, just destroying each other with ladders, and literally the definition of reckless. You look that word up in the dictionary, you will see a picture of this match between Harper and Dolph Ziggler. Busting each other open with the ladders, just going balls to the wall. Yes, it was a little unsafe, but it made for a fantastic match, and it was perfect considering who was involved. The hard-hitting Luke Harper and the very sympathetic Dolph Ziggler, who in the end, in his hometown, the crowd was red hot for the guy. When he ascended the ladder, regained the gold, and became, for the 4th time in his career, the Intercontinental Champion. It's a phenomenal way of kicking off the show, and unfortunately, it would open the show, and everything else after that was all downhill. There was no recovering after that, but still, a fantastic ladder match, and definitely one of my favorite ladder matches just of all time from what I've seen. So coming in at number 4 on the list is from the 2010 installment, a Fatal 4-Way TLC match between the then World Heavyweight Champion Kane, Edge, Alberto Del Rio, and Rey Mysterio. And this was one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. This wasn't a pay-per-view that I ordered, I just watched it online, and I'm watching it actually right now on my TV, which is funny, but just top to bottom, this was a fantastic show. Easily one of, if not the best TLC installment ever. Just the whole card was basically perfect. And there was kind of some stipulation overkill as opposed to the traditional one TLC match and then one ladder match, one tables match, one chairs match. We had 2 tables matches, 2 chairs matches. No, maybe it was 1 chairs match. We had 1 chairs match, 2 tables matches, 2 ladder matches, and 1 TLC match. So a lot of different stipulations on this show. And originally, as it was announced like a couple weeks before this show, it was supposed to be Del Rio and Mysterio in a chairs match to kind of finish off their feud, that had been going on since the summer, one of the best booked feuds in recent memory on SmackDown. But because they felt, I guess they thought that, the officials thought rather, that Kane and Edge wouldn't deliver in a singles one-on-one matchup, or they thought, I don't know what they thought, but I don't think it was time constraints, but rather maybe they figured they wouldn't have as great of a match if it was just them two after their Survivor Series match. Was decent. It was not even close to being a great match, but it was solid. Kane can just not be really counted on for a compelling contest, a compelling performance. At this point in time, even 5 years ago, like even his matches with Undertaker weren't great. Like I enjoyed the Night of Champions one, but the Hell in a Cell one was not good. The Buried Alive one was all right. So they needed more competitors in there, so they just basically threw them all in the one match, and Del Rio and Mysterio would finish off their feud in the first SmackDown of 2011. Also a great match. I believe that was 2 out of 3 count falls. But as far as this match goes, because it featured 4 guys, absolutely benefited the bout by having 4 guys in there as opposed to just Edge and Kane. Couldn't have been more excited they decided to merge those 2 matches, because all 4 guys went out there and had a great fucking match. Just spot after spot. They went up the ramp and just all hell broke loose at the top of the ramp, and Kane wiped a few people out, choke slam through tables, 619s, all this other random ass shit. Edge spearing Kane through a table at ringside. Mysterio delivers a 619 in the chair, or Kane just destroys the guy. Just so many great fucking spots thrown into one match. But in the end, for the first time in I think a year and a half since he dropped the belt to Jeff Hardy in the summer of 2009, so basically for the first time in a year and a half, winning his 10th World Championship. Ascending the ladder was the Rated R Superstar Edge. The crowd came unglued, which really should have been the main event. And I know they wanted to tell the story that Cena was putting away the Nexus, and he wanted to eliminate them once and for all with their chairs match, which wasn't bad. But I thought this TLC match was so much better, and I really thought it should have closed the show. Easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite TLC match of all time. Since I've been a fan. Don't confuse that with the original TLC matches. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for that, but this was a really, really good TLC match, considering that wasn't originally supposed to be the case. It was just going to be Edge and Kane. So considering the circumstances and everything else that went on in this match, phenomenal stuff. Easily very deserving of my number 4 slot on this list. So coming in at number 3 from the 2012 installment, John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, originally I thought it was stupid, the briefcase. I mean, a lot of people, and not me specifically, I should rephrase that. A lot of people thought it was dumb, the briefcase was on the line. I thought it made it more intriguing, because I thought there was a legitimate shot that Cena had at winning that briefcase and going on to cash in to win the World Heavyweight Championship and face Rock in a unification match at WrestleMania. Now, we would get the unification match at TLC that year anyway, but I thought it just was unnecessary, and Ziggler deserved the briefcase, and whatever, and there had been discussion of him winning it, so it made this match a lot more intriguing. Del Rio, or rather Ziggler, was coming off a huge win at Survivor Series when he eliminated all of Team Orton. He was a sole survivor. He was riding a wave of momentum. Now, he would lose the rematches against Cena, don't get me wrong, but he was one of the few people that had the chance to beat Cena on pay-per-view, albeit with some help from one turning AJ Lee with a great spot, who had been kind of flirting on and off with John Cena as friends, and that is kind of teased that they were more than just buddies. And then in the end, AJ comes in to kind of counteract Vicky Guerrero, who had still been managing Dolph at that time. And then as Cena is climbing the ladder, and after a whole slew of great spots, and they kind of turned it into a TLC match essentially. I don't know if they used chairs, but there were a few table spots, so it was basically a TLC match. But technically it was a ladder match. So Cena is ascending the ladder, AJ Lee skipping around the ring in her John Cena t-shirt and whatever. And then when all of a sudden she flips the ladder over, and it turns over, it falls on the rope. Cena falls off the ladder on his feet. Ziggler connects with the super kick, knocks out Cena. He goes down to the ground. Place is just completely in shock after seeing this, and Ziggler ascends the ladder and picks up a main event win on a pay-per-view against John Cena to retain his Money in the Bank briefcase. It was absolutely phenomenal. A huge win for Ziggler on this show, and it really cemented the relationship between him and AJ for a few months that went on until the summer. Gave Ziggler a huge win before he would lose to John Cena a couple weeks later in back-to-back matches. But other than that, though, they had a handful of some really, really good matches in the final few months of 2012, going into 2013. I thought this was their best one. really made Ziggler into a main event level star, albeit for a short period of time. But it was a great win, a great swerve with AJ turning heel. That wasn't predictable. I thought it was going to happen. I thought it should have happened, and I was very happy that it did, but it wasn't obvious. And like I said, it set up their relationship, prevented Cena from winning another big match before his big match with The Rock at WrestleMania. So a lot of different factors went into it. It was awesome. Really enjoyed it. And like I said, a great way of closing out the 2012 TLC pay-per-view, which I'll get back to in a minute. But also on that same note, before I get to the next match on this list, I should note that was the first pay-per-view to take place in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I mean, that show was also an amazing event. I don't know if it beats out 2010 installment as my favorite TLC pay-per-view, but it's certainly up there. But it was the first WWE pay-per-view, WWE event period, to take place in the Barclays Center, the brand spanking new arena. And I've been there for SummerSlam this past year. It's a great arena, and for TakeOver, and the crowds are always great, and there was no exception on this show. So moving on to the second match on this list, a triple threat TLC match from the 2011 installment, pitting the then WWE Champion CM Punk against Alberto Del Rio and The Miz. So basically, leading up to this match, Punk had beaten Del Rio for the title at Survivor Series in MSG, kicking off his 434-day reign as champion. Cena was nowhere to be found on this pay-per-view the same night that Zack Ryder won the United States Championship and Daniel Bryan cashed in Money in the Bank to become the World Heavyweight Champion. So you had a lot of great things going on already. This was already my favorite show of 2011, right next to Money in the Bank. I was freaking the fuck out by this point, but these guys delivered a really, really good TLC match, and I love watching this pay-per-view back to this day because they really had great chemistry with each other. So like I said, going into this match, you had a couple different factors here. Like I said, so the whole Punk and Del Rio feud, and it was kind of obvious Punk was going to win, but that didn't really take away from the match whatsoever. They had great chemistry, and The Miz was kind of shoehorned in here. He main evented Survivor Series with Cena, Rock, and R-Truth. And then R-Truth got suspended, so he turned on him, and he was kind of going in this role for a little while where he took out John Morrison. In John Morrison's final match with the company, he took out Zack Ryder, I think, at one point, and maybe Randy Orton or a few others, I'm sure. I forgot who exactly it was. But he beat a few people, and then he earned his way into the title match at the pay-per-view. Ziggler almost got in the match, but I think he lost or something like that, so he was out of the match thanks to Zack Ryder. And then John Cena was out of the match too. He gave up his title shot for Zack Ryder, who got a title shot on this pay-per-view, and Cena was nowhere to be found on this show. The only pay-per-view that Cena was around for, he wasn't hurt, he wasn't out filming a show, he was around for this pay-per-view, they just didn't have him on it. Not even in a non-match segment. He wasn't on the show at all. He got attacked by Kane on the Raw prior at the Slammy Awards, but he was nowhere to be seen in the show, which was awesome. But anyway, these guys had some amazing chemistry, and I forgot to mention it with the earlier match in the Fatal 4-Way TLC match from 2010, that there was one spot where I believe it was Del Rio. I forgot which year it was. Maybe I'm flip-flopping my years here, but one year Del Rio fell through like 4 tables or ringside or something like that. I think Ricardo matched that spot here when he was going up, and he got tossed to ringside, literally got killed in this match. Okay, maybe not literally, but he came pretty close to death in this match by taking that spot. Again, it might have been 2010, but I know both of them went through tables back-to-back years in these matches that I mentioned. And then Miz had a pretty good showing too. CM Punk got handcuffed to the top rope, and this was before Cena and Orton did it in 2013 in the same exact fucking match. So I can't believe they only waited 2 years before doing the spot again. But it was pretty cool at the time. Punk broke the top rope in order to get out of it. That was really cool. And so he knocked out Miz, he knocked out Del Rio, ascended the ladder, still the WWE champion, retained the title, and a great way of closing out an amazing night. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't in Philly. I forgot where it took place. I'm pretty sure it was in Baltimore. That's where Ryder won the championship. So I'm pretty sure it was in Baltimore. So a great show, TLC 2011, an amazing event, closing out with that great TLC match. I forgot to mention, I'm pretty sure I forgot Ryder and Ziggler here, who also had a great match. I'd probably put that as an honorable mention. But Ziggler and Harper deserves to be on there, so I'll probably put that as an honorable mention. But leading the list here should really come as no surprise to anyone who has followed WWE TLC closely over the past couple of years. Also from the 2012 event, which was, like I said, top to bottom, start to finish, a fantastic show, was not the main event. Like I mentioned, that was Cena and Ziggler. I think that was fitting of the main event slot. I think that was deserving the main event slot, but that you could also make an argument that this match should have main evented too. One of, as some people have said, the best match of 2012, and I won't argue with you there. There are some other matches I would put there before this match, but it's easily my top 5, if not top 3. The Shield versus Ryback and Team Unknown. This was another makeshift match. A lot of these matches were makeshift matches that didn't really have long builds or anything like that, and I'm a sucker for storytelling, but this was not one of those matches. Basically, the Shield debuted at Survivor Series, and the original plan was to do Punk and Ryback for the WWE Championship and a TLC match in the main event of this pay-per-view. But because Punk got hurt in the weeks leading up to this pay-per-view, not too hurt that he wouldn't be able to compete and had to retain the title, he would be cleared by year's end and was able to go by the first Raw in 2013, where he faced Ryback in that same TLC match for the title. But in the meantime, we needed a TLC match for this pay-per-view, so Punk was out. Who was Ryback going to face? So instead, they put the Shield in there against making their in-ring debut. If they didn't debut here, I don't know when they would have debuted. Maybe they would have kept them out of the ring for a few months. I don't really know. Because they didn't wrestle after this until like fucking Elimination Chamber 2 months later against Cena, Sheamus, and Orton. No, not Orton. It was Ryback, actually, because they had the whole long feud with Ryback. But anyway, so they put Hell No in there because they were kind of on and off feuding with the Shield, and they got attacked by them a couple times on Raw leading up to this pay-per-view. So again, the build was pretty impromptu. It was done in the weeks leading up to this pay-per-view. Not a lot of long build. The match was just there. A lot of people were just excited to see the Shield in action for the first time. And it resulted in an absolutely 5-star fucking classic from all these 6 guys. Even Ryback, even Kane, everyone held their own and created just an amazing match. Like I said, Brooklyn, they didn't make this match because the match would have been amazing anywhere, but the environment was electric. They just absolutely killed it in this match. Rollins taking the bump of the fucking night off a 20-foot high ladder through a couple tables near the stage, and in the meantime, the other 2 members of the Shield, it's just so amazing. And Roman Reigns, I think, got hit with hit Daniel Bryan with like a fucking powerbomb off the top rope or whatever it was, and they pinned Daniel Bryan in the ring to pick up the victory. The only TLC match ever to end in a pinfall. And like that alone, I was thinking, oh shit, this is going to suck because it's not over a title. It's not really over anything. But it turned out to be one of the best TLC matches of all time. These guys created fucking magic on this show. I'm not going to go through every single spot, but these guys, just non-stop chaos from start to finish. They debuted the Shield theme music here. Just fantastic, magical stuff from start to finish in this match from all 6 guys, from Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Kane, Ryback, and Daniel Bryan. Just, I take my hat off to you guys. If I was wearing a hat, I would take it off. And just, again, that wasn't even the main event. We had a great main event between Cena and Ziggler, a couple other really good matches on that card. Just top to bottom, a fantastic show in the Barclays Center that made for an awesome night on the whole. So, therefore, if you couldn't already tell, I just love TLC 2010, 2011, and 2012 specifically, which is where 4 of the 5 of these matches come from, with the exception of Ziggler and Harper from 2014. So those 3 installments, I have them on DVD. You can also watch them on the network, of course. You can watch all these matches on the network this weekend before TLC on Sunday. But TLC does have a tendency to be pretty good. The TLC 2013 and TLC 2014 weren't amazing. Like I said, they were all right. They weren't fantastic, but they were all right. Nothing compared to the previous 3 shows, though. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is in store on Sunday. The build has not been great, but with what's already been confirmed for the card and the fact that I'll be there, I'm hoping for just an awesome experience that I will be sharing with you guys right here in the video blog next Friday. Only 2 weeks short of Christmas. Next week's Star Wars. Wednesday's NXT TakeOver. Sunday's TLC. Guys, it's just an amazing time to be fucking alive right now. I'm so happy. Hopefully, you guys look forward to TLC on Sunday. Check out all these matches. I'm Graham G. Samantha. Have an awesome weekend, guys. I'm so excited. I can't even talk. But I'm Graham G. Sam Matthews. Have an awesome weekend, guys. And I'll catch you folks down the road.